In this video, I'm going on a Carnival cruise aboard the Panorama. I'll show you the amenities aboard and things to do, talk about the food and if it was any good, and explore the 3 destinations of Puerto Vallarta, Mazatlan, and Cabo, Mexico. Me and my buddy Dill started our adventure with a mini vacation in Long Beach, California. We stayed a few days there and enjoyed the nightlife, the restaurants, the beach, the shopping, where we each bought some Hurley brand shorts for $5, among other things. And we also went on a fun whale watching trip where we got to see a few whales. Not a bad way to start a vacation.
Oh, kind of sketchy.
So rickety.
This is so rickety. It's all squeaky and like. Oh man.
Any moment,
it's gonna pop a wheel. We're gonna fly out into nowhere.
Next, it was time to head to the cruise ship. I dressed up in my appropriate cruising attire, and we left our Airbnb to head to the terminal at the port of Long Beach. And of course, we had lots of traffic on the way. After parking at the garage, we grabbed our gear and made our way to the terminal. Along the way, we had a great view of the Queen Mary, which is a famous ship from several years ago. Fun fact, it is now a hotel. You could stay there if you want. The terminal was located in a large dome building, which has its own unique history, which I won't get into right now. We didn't have to wait very long before they called for our boarding number and we made our way to the cruise ship. Getting on the boat! There's so much to see and do on this massive ship, from water slides to rope courses to a really cool sky bike ride. To swimming pools, hot tubs, sports court, big chessboards, comedy clubs, dance clubs, piano bar, a fun theater with all kinds of shows, one of which was a really funny love and marriage show. They had a place for kids which included an arcade and a few other places like an indoor trampoline park. There are lots of little shops aboard in case you wanted to buy overpriced items, or maybe you forgot a few items like toothpaste, Dramamine, etc. There was constant entertainment that you could attend. Karaoke was a favorite for our group, and a really cool silent dance night on the main pool deck. You got headphones and then you could tune in to 3 different channels and dance, but only you could hear the music. Very fun for the spectators and participants. There was also a gym on board with great views of the ocean. Pretty common for most cruise ships to have a gym. I was able to keep up with my physical therapy on my back and my shoulder. One of my favorite things about cruises is the food. You can eat food pretty much 24/7 if you wanted to. On Deck 10 was the Lido Marketplace, where you could find all the main buffets, which were open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Some of my favorite things to eat there were the bacon and eggs and the pastries. I also liked that they had fresh fruit all the time. Around the ship, there were other restaurants that you could eat, some of which were included, and others you had to pay extra for.
Let's see.
Monday brunch.
Monday brunch was good.
Thanks, buddy.
You're welcome.
My favorite place to eat would probably be Guy's Burger Joint. The burgers are fantastic. Another thing I ate a fair amount was the pizza. It wasn't gourmet, but it was always there. It seemed like that place never closed. If you wanted pizza at 2 a.m., you could get it. For dinner, we spent most of our nights at the Horizon restaurant on level 3 with a big group of singles that we were a part of. I wouldn't say the food was the best, but it had a good variety of things to eat and some things that I really enjoyed. You always had a choice between appetizers, which came out first. Oh yeah! That's gonna make the video. Then the main entrees, and then desserts. A good selection each night with crowd favorites like the Carnival Chocolate Molten Cake. Now when it comes to food on a cruise ship, I need to talk about the ice cream. One of my favorite things to do on cruises is eat the soft serve ice cream. It's pretty much all you can eat, and I am ready to dive into this. So good. Can't get enough of the ice cream. There's always tons of people walking around eating the ice cream. So they had ice cream and frozen yogurt. The strawberry frozen yogurt was awesome. Walking up stairs. That's how you keep the pounds off when you're on the cruise. Another thing that was really cool is I booked a pasta making class in the Carnival kitchen. Pasta making is pretty easy, but it was still fun to take the class. Here's a quick tutorial on how to make pasta. First, add the eggs and the oil, sometimes a bit of water, to flour with a bit of salt. Knead the dough until it's soft and doesn't crack. Then cut it into small pieces and flatten it out. Next, feed it through the pasta roller using the top setting first, and then adjust the setting each time until you get the desired thickness. We made linguine pasta, so we had to cut it into that shape. We also made a basic sauce, which included pancetta, olive oil, onions, garlic, tomatoes, white wine, chicken stock, parsley, pesto, tomato sauce, and fresh basil. We cooked the pasta for about 3 minutes or so in boiling water, then added it to the sauce. And voila! The homemade pasta from scratch was done. This meal was actually probably my favorite thing I ate on the whole cruise. So good. Before we get to the excursions, I want to give you a tour of my stateroom. My room was on deck 1. It was in a crazy long hallway, which is common for cruise ships. It still felt a little eerie each time in it. It reminded me of the movie The Shining. The stateroom itself isn't super large, around 160 to 170 square feet. I was able to unpack everything and put it away. The bathroom is small but sufficient. You can pay more and get a room with a window or balcony. All in all, I was quite comfortable in my stateroom. After 3 days of cruising south down the Pacific Ocean, we arrived at our first port in Mexico, which was Puerto Vallarta. It was fun waking up a little early to get out on the deck and enjoy the views as we approached and then finally docked. Getting off the boat was painless. We were greeted by some music and a band playing. I even danced around with them a little bit, showing off my awesome dance moves. Time for our excursion. This excursion was great. We boarded a skiff and drove past our cruise ship, which gave us a great view of the massive vessel. Then we rowed across the bay to the other side to a small town which is only accessible by boat. There we got on some horses and rode around the town a bit. Next, we got back on the boat and went to another little town to hike to a waterfall. The water was cool and refreshing. Then we headed back to the boat. We got on the boat and rode for a few more minutes, and then we went to a place to go snorkeling. The water was so clear and there was so many fish to see. I don't have any footage of that, unfortunately, but it was awesome and the water was super warm. I loved it. Finally, we wound up on a beach where we had a buffet of yummy traditional Mexican food, all we could drink drinks, and the opportunity to paddleboard and kayak and swim if we wished. Then after about an hour, it was time to get back to the ship. A short walk from the ship, you can find a Sam's Club and Walmart, as well as a good-sized shopping mall. The next day, we arrived in Mazatlán. Again, I woke up a little early to watch the cruise come in to port and enjoy the port scenery. Then the massive ship did a 180-degree turn and pretty much parallel parked at the dock. The precision of the docking process was incredible. Our excursion that day had us traveling all around Mazatlán. We drove on a tour bus and drove near the beaches and stopped at a jewelry store. I wandered around a bit and found a seashell museum, which was pretty cool. Our next stop took us to a brickyard where we watched them make handmade bricks. A very interesting process. The bricks are used around the city. Another stop took us to a bakery where I bought an awesome pastry. The bread is baked in a domed outdoor oven. I want one of these to bake my own bread and pizza. I'm at this small little town on the way to Durango. This is in Mexico, about 40 minutes from the port at Mazatlán, and we're stopping at these little towns and went to this bakery and this like kind of a brioche style bread with a glaze and then some strawberry in the middle. It's very good, super fluffy and sweet bread. It's a really awesome, cool little bakery in this small little town in Mexico. Yummy. Next, we stopped at a very old church which had amazing architecture. Then we drove to another small town. There we had lunch and explored another really cool, very old church. Then it was time to go back to the ship. The following day was our last port visit. Again, I woke up a little early to enjoy the cruise ship as it approached Cabo. There was no dock, so we had to take tender boats which ferried us to the actual dock. Cabo is such a beautiful location, resting at the very southern tip of Baja California. On one side is the Pacific Ocean and the other side is the Sea of Cortez. At the dock, we made our way to find a water taxi. We took a short water taxi and toured a little bit of the tip of Baja. Some incredible scenery. We disembarked the little taxi onto Lover's Beach. This is a unique beach which has the Sea of Cortez on one side and the Pacific Ocean on the other side, which is called Divorce Beach. A couple in our group renewed their wedding vows, and then we played in the water and just hung out, enjoyed the beach. The water was really clear and really warm. Amazing. Then it was time to get back to the ship. Now, we had one more full day at sea before arriving at the port of Long Beach. A bittersweet moment, knowing the vacation was coming to an end. However, it was a good thing because Hurricane Hillary was hot on our heels. It was such a fun cruising experience. I can't wait to go on another. Speaking of which, I already booked another one in January. I love cruising so much. If you're looking to book a cruise, check the description box for my affiliate link. Happy cruising, everyone. And now for a bit more B-roll of the cruising experience. Enjoy. There you go.
Whoops. Yeah, whoops is right.
Whoops.